Okay, today we're going to be talking about a little bit more on some object-oriented theories and looking at some more code. Now I've asked you guys to be working on this project, and I haven't seen any sample code being sent back to me. Hopefully you're understanding what I'm trying to get across, and even though it's conceptual, it may not be the exact coding style you guys use. The idea is to get the concepts across and reinforced, and just a way to play with some code and see how it works and doesn't work, or should work and shouldn't work. So that's a little disappointing on my end that I can't see how you're able to code or pick up on this, what I'm trying to get across. Hopefully you'll be able to send me something at the end of the class today. So the topics we're going to talk about today are the property scoping. We'll start with this slide to show the different kinds of scopes you can put on your methods and your properties. I just have property in the title here, but this applies also for your methods as well. So public is open to global scope access. It's very similar to any variable or function within a PHP file that's accessible file-wide. So that's the most accessible, and it's also the most vulnerable. So you have to be careful using public if you're concerned about the stability of your classes. Private is a way to define your methods and properties and giving them only access from within the defined class. So even if you instantiate a class or inherit a class, then anything defined private is not accessible in the inherited class. Protected is a little more lenient than private. It allows you to have access to the methods and properties from within the defined class and its descendants, but not outside the class in the general code area as a public method or property is. And then the last one here is final, and it's open to global scope, but it can't be extended or overridden. So it's a combination of public and private, really, if you think about it like that. And if you don't, so far we haven't used any of these in our sample code, or haven't talked about them. If you don't use any attributes like public, private, or protected, then public is the default. So if you just use a method name with the function keyword and don't put any attributes on it, scoping attributes on it, then it's considered public. Any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, so we'll look at some code now. The first one I want to look at is just an example. This has nothing to do with the running project. But here we'll get into, you'll see some gets here, and sets and gets methods. We'll get into that a little later. But right now I just want to show you that these are all public functions, public methods, the gets and the sets, but the variables are protected. So that means that they can only be used within this class or any inherited classes. So what I'm looking at here is this is the class definition. Oh yes, this is generally kind of small text. Let me make this a little bigger. to remember where this is. There it is. Like that. 18. There. Hopefully you can see that a little better. So again, in this class, I've collapsed all these methods, but we're looking at an automobile class, and we're looking at properties of make, model, and year of an automobile. So again, this is the class definition, and then down below here is where we're starting to use the instantiated class. So we're using the new keyword as always, automobile here, and we're referring to creating an instantiated object called my car. And here we're using the set values. So because they're protected, I have to have some way to access the properties, and this is the way to do it. So we're calling the public functions of set year, set model, set make. Now these are setters and getters, and we'll get a little more in the definitions and the slides of those in a few minutes. But what we're doing here is we're creating methods that relate to the properties. So you'll see the property name in the function definition as well. So we're talking make, model, and year. Here I'm passing in a Honda Accord in 2007 for the make, model, and year, and then I'm just simply echoing it out with the gets to return the values to me for display on the screen. So I'm going to open the browser here. And show this code in action. So here you see it's just simply doing what I asked it to do. I'll split the screen here over. Maybe you can see that right and left. Bring this a little smaller. Maybe over under because of the. Come on. Okay. And we'll make that small. So all I'm doing here is getting the make, the model, and concatenating some space in between them, and the year. So I'll throw a question at you. Let's see. What are, so I'll go back to my code. What is the benefits here of using getters and setters, if you have heard of them before? Anybody? All quiet. Okay. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Sorry about that. I have some allergies.
Can you repeat the question again?
Oh, yeah. The question is, if you've seen getters and setters before, if you can tell me what the advantages of them are. Has anyone used getters and setters before? Okay. So some of you have used them before, but I'll just bring up the slide here and let you read over that information. So it's a way to protect the class and its values from outside influences. So if you're using different modules or different classes from different libraries, it's a way to kind of protect it from overlapping it, getting in each other's way. The last bullet there is that they can be used for data validation as well. So it's a great way to protect the data before you set it. So if you don't know, if you're looking for certain values, then you can double check that as you go in. So here's the set year on the automobile class. And what I'm doing here is I'm just checking to see if the content type is in fact digits. So we don't want a model year that has strings in it, or letters in it rather. So if I go 2007 ASF, again, this is probably, you wouldn't want it echoing straight out onto the screen from within the function, the method, but you would return an error message or something and deal with it outside the class. But here it's just a way to pick up the value in the set year method and check it before it goes before it's set inside the class. So what I should see on the screen here now is set error has occurred. So if I save this and I refresh my browser, I will see, again, I don't stop the process, I'm just echoing something out onto the screen, but I could be a lot more protective in what I'm doing here and not let the code carry on. But as you can see down below here, the Honda Accord part works, the make and the model, but the year isn't set because there's more than just digits in the string, and therefore we trigger an error. So this is a way to protect the value as you're setting it within the class. So it may seem like there's a little bit of overhead in the setters and getters, but again, it just provides a kind of a buffer zone to your classes and the data within the classes. So here, if I'm just using the get, all we're doing is returning the make in this instance. So we're getting the make, calling that function, and all we're doing is returning the make, and that lets it still be protected, and we're handing it off to the code that called it, so it's not being directly affected within the class itself. So as you can see, like I said, I'm using the protected here, public on the setters and getters, and there I have a tight little class. Any questions there?
It's okay.
No questions? Okay. So what I want you to do, this is going to be some lab time, is we have in our requirements, I'll go back a few pages here. is we have these two classes that I'd like to define. And I'd like you to define the classes and write setters and getters for one of these classes. So you can do either the credit card class or the inventory class, and these are the property items that we want them to have. So security code, if you're using credit card, this one I want to have it as digits only. So you can do a set control on that. And the name on the card would have to be alpha only, no numbers. And the card number, for example, would have to be numbers only. So go ahead and take 10 minutes to do that, and just let me know when you're ready, and we can take a look at the code that you have done.